Oh, okay. Welcome, everybody. This is Steampunk Star Raisin of AmberStreet.com. This is a live show for May 21st, 2017. I got Daniel coming here. I just got to figure out how to invite him. I'm totally okay. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I apologize. It's just they totally reconfigured. I haven't done a live show since August. They totally reconfigured the way Google Hangouts works. Google Hangouts doesn't go live on its own. You have to link it to your YouTube live stream, and it's a lot more complicated. Or until I get the hang of it, it's a lot more complicated uh, to do another live stream. Okay, I'm going to invite my co-host Daniel. Hopefully he'll respond. We're waiting on Daniel to join us for the Steampunk Star Raisin live show. Hey Daniel, welcome. We're actually live, and this is actually recording now. As you can see in the top right hand corner, we are live. This is the Steampunk Star Raisin live show, May 21st, 2017. Until I can figure out how to name it better. But anyway, I think the last time we did a live broadcast together was back in August. I don't have quite big enough of an audience. There's nobody really watching us live right now. But this will be recorded onto my channel. So I guess we'll just talk about a little bit of everything. So what's the first thing on your mind that you wanted to talk about in sci-fi or movie news or any of that jazz?
Okay, first of all, did you see this new Star Trek trailer? Yeah, it was good.
I have. I mean, it looked all right. I mean, it really didn't show much. I guess that's good because they're trying to build up anticipation. I'm not very optimistic because I don't like how they made the Klingon look like Gorn. They don't look like a different race of Klingon. They look like a different alien species. You wouldn't even recognize them as Klingon. And yeah. I don't like what I'm hearing about that's going to be trans-dimensional universes. It just sounds like a wishy-washy way of rebooting the Prime timeline. I don't like that. I'd like to have some sense of continuity, continuation from Star Trek Enterprise or continuation from Star Trek Next Generation. I mean, Enterprise did lose a lot of viewers because a lot of people weren't happy with the prequel idea, and then the shakeup with Nemesis not doing well because it competed with Return of the King, which was kind of a dumb thing to do to release that movie. They should have released it like a month later or a couple months later. It would have done so much better. And then blaming that on Rick Berman and then firing him and destroying his career. You look up his Internet Movie Database, he hasn't done anything since Star Trek Enterprise. And then it just seems like CBS has a hatred of Star Trek. They won't allow Star Trek to be just Star Trek. They got to jazz it up. They got to mix it up and try to make it into something that it's not, and trying to make it into a streaming show only. I mean, and then it's available. Apparently Netflix funded a lot of the special effects. And apparently it's available on Netflix, but only outside of the United States. So for those of us, you're in Canada, outside of the United States, it really sucks because we won't be able to watch the show unless we pay $10 a month for CBS All Access. And I'm not sure it'll be worth it because I'm not liking what I'm hearing. And what is it? Brian Fuller was the original showrunner, right?
Yeah, Brian Fuller was the original showrunner.
Yeah, and then they fired him, and I mean, he was a good choice for a showrunner, but then, he had conflicts with the CEO of CBS, and he got fired. I mean, this guy had written episodes of Deep Space Nine, which you would agree was a good show, and he'd written episodes of Voyager, so he was very familiar with the Star Trek mythology. he wanted to stay true to Star Trek, and then he apparently had a conflict with the CEO of CBS, who wanted to make it Game of Thrones in outer space, which is totally stupid. If I want to watch Game of Thrones, I'll watch Game of Thrones. I don't want Game of Thrones with just a Star Trek skin on it. That's not Star Trek.
But I think what CBS head Les Moonves and the executive wanted, the executives, they were like, well, we have to appeal to a younger audience who may not really care about that, about the old Star Trek. You know, I mean, the younger people, they don't really want to. They want to have fun. They want to have like more run and gun, you know, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he was like, oh, you know, let's make it for younger people today. So, you know, he's like, okay,
yeah, but they did the same philosophy with the movies, and they did a terrible job. And
yeah,
in my opinion, if you had done a decent Star Trek movie, you wouldn't struggle to make $300 million. You could easily make $1 billion like Rogue One or Avengers. Avengers was considered a very nerdy comic book kind of movie, but it got mainstream appeal because they did good storylines and they had a good director, Joss Whedon. But
it all depends on the writing. You know, you got to have good writers and stuff. And hey, you know, this has Nicholas Meyer in there, so that does, you know, give you some hope for like, oh, this could be you know, a good show. I mean, it has Nicholas Meyer, right? Nicholas Meyer didn't really do anything that bad. So yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad, depending. I mean, if it's transdimensional universes simultaneously going on at once, that sounds confusing. And if the Klingon look like Gorn and it's a rebooted visual version of the Prime Universe, I'm probably not gonna like it. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not optimistic that, you know, they're only going to do 13 episodes per season. It just sounds like they're cutting corners. It's like, if you're going to do another Star Trek show, go all out. Don't cut corners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this is a problem that goes all the way back to the 1970s, even with Battlestar Galactica. They were like, well, we don't like spending so much money, so let's cut corners. For those of you who don't know, I mean, the history of the original Battlestar Galactica, you know, I watched reruns of it as a child, but the original show got really good ratings, and I can't remember what network at the time, but they decided that they canceled the show after one full season, not because of low ratings, but because they figured that they could do like another show, like a sitcom show, to replace it, because they wouldn't have to do special effects. And then the ratings for the replacement show were so low that 2 years later they brought back Battlestar Galactica. But then they were like, we're going to bring it back and we're going to dumb it down and we're going to call it Galactica 1980 and we're going to make it take place on Earth so that we could save money on sets and everything. And we're not going to even hire the original cast back because we're going to save even more money by not even hiring the original actors. And so Galactica 1980 got canceled after only 12 episodes because of low ratings. And it sounds to me, this is like the Galactica 1980 of Star Trek. I mean, where they're just dumbing it down and they're cutting corners to try to save money. And if you're going to do a Star Trek show, don't cut corners. Don't do it half-assed. Go all out. And don't be afraid to engage the Prime Universe. That's what people want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I really do. And I've been like, you know, like recently people have been saying, I've been going around telling people like, oh, you know, the rights have been split, right? And between Paramount and CBS. And until they don't get back together again, you know, the rights are going to be split and they're going to have to do like totally different realities. But but then recently somebody talked to me and said, well, you know, that's not entirely true because CBS owns the rights to Trek on television and everything on television, and you know, so they could do a Prime Universe show set like maybe 30 years after Nemesis, like whatever, and But for some reason, I don't know why they're not doing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking maybe it's a test show. They're just trying to test the waters to see if we want it.
Okay. Well,
I think that's.
So you're excited for the new show.
I think it looks really nice.
All right.
I just don't understand how some people could say, well, like, oh, this trailer looks so cheaply done. It looks like a fan film trailer. Like, no, it doesn't. It looks so much better than anything we've seen before. I mean, I think so. It looks really good. The special effects look really good. The camera angles look good. It looks cinematic. And some people say Star Trek Continues looks better than this. Then I'm like, what? Star Trek Continues, the fan show, it doesn't look better than this.
Well, Star Trek Continues kind of looks. They did a pretty good job at replicating the original set design of the 1960s Star Trek, but then you have, it was called Star Trek Continues for a while. Then it was called Star Trek New Voyages, and I think they changed the name to Star Trek Phase 2, but it's all really the same thing, the same actors, the same premise. But hey, Joe just sent me an invite on Zoom. Do you want to join me there? I was just this was a test run.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to end this broadcast. Probably going to join Joe for his everything show. All right.
All right.